Ready, Set, Right, where we give serious writing critique without taking ourselves too seriously. Today we are recording at the Ready, Set, Right conference. Much better. We had to redo that. They were sleeping during the first take. So
that's what 10,000 people sound
right.
like.
Yeah, 10,000 people. That's exactly what they sound like. This is the fourth year we've done the Ready, Set, Right conference, and it was a great crowd. All right, so my name is Lindsay, and with me here today is
Annika Arrington,
Adrienne Quintana,
Portia Baker.
Brock Booher.
all right, and you know what? You guys know how the show works, but for those who in the audience who don't, we're going to read, specifically Brock is going to read a first page submission, and the rest of us are going to pretend like we're agents and editors. And in
Adrienne actually
Adrienne's
is,
case,
but
she's actually is
I
one.
still like to pretend.
She doesn't have to pretend. And then if we don't like what we hear,
Almost told your buzzer.
You can buzz it if you want to.
so we'll hit the buzzer and explain why. Okay,
intense.
Brock?
Okay, here we go. Anyone using this chair? A sweet voice with a Southern American accent pulled Andy from his contemplative state. He hid behind dark sunglasses and glanced up to find an angel hovering in the late afternoon haze. Her long brown hair shimmered around the edges where the sun touched it, and her sparkling brown eyes hosted a hint of flirting as she smiled down at him. Depends on who's asking. Andy wasn't disguising his identity per se, but wasn't flaunting himself in public either. He'd stepped off the radar for 4 months and was curious how his visit to London would unfold. The girl's friends were waiting for her to pull up the extra chair. I'm teasing, Andy said. You're welcome to borrow the chair if you bring it back in a little while. Will you be needing it at any time soon? She glanced around the little...
I don't think it's moving. It's moving too slow for me. Maybe that's because it's romance, and I don't like romance.
How do you know it's romance? He went off the radar for 4 months.
Well, there's no dead bodies, so
Maybe that's why he went off the radar. Oh, you don't know that.
if there are dead bodies later, then I am sorry that I buzzed it.
Okay, moving too slowly for Randy. Let's see, where were we? She glanced around the little outdoor cafe, which was nearly empty this late in the afternoon. She looked about college age, so she was plenty old enough for him. He had to be careful now that he was 22. Flirting with teenagers was flirting with disaster. Her southern drawl pulled him back to the present. Are you waiting for anyone? Just an old friend, Andy said. He leaned closer to her.
Okay, the reason that I buzz is because we're just about at the end of the page, and I have no goal from him. So, I'm just kind of feeling like, oh, this is just, some people talking, and it's just a lovely day, but it's not bringing me in. I'm not finding an intriguing enough reason to stay in, and I think it's because it's lacking a goal.
Okay. I thought he was just flirting with a girl, but anyway. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. That's not a goal? Anyway, just kidding.
Well,
Just an old friend, Andy said. He leaned closer to her. The scraping of metal on concrete caused Andy to dig his nails into his palms. He broke his connection with the flirtatious young lady from America and knew exactly who had sat down at the table across from him.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. What do you think, guys? Randy buzzed it already. Torsia buzzed it. Annika?
We need a thesaurus in here. There's a lot of flirting, and she's real Southern. We've established that pretty effectively throughout this whole first page. I think the word flirting appears like 3 different times, maybe 4.
So you're against flirting?
She's a word.
No, I'm against repetition.
Okay.
That's what,
Well, and even telling us that she's flirting, or she's flirting, he's flirting, we can see that they're flirting.
Right.
So we don't need to be told that in the
Yeah.
first place. I think most of those could just be cut.
And another point with that too, it says sweet voice with a Southern American accent. Now, there's some ways to maybe use different dialogue to say,
To show us the
to
Southern.
show, right? She could say something like, anyone using this chair, sweetie? Or, I wonder if they
y'all
serve.
using this chair?
Y'all
Yes.
using this chair? Exactly.
Yeah,
Or-
that we wouldn't even need to be told that it was a Southern
right.
accent.
Or if she would say, I wish they served sweet iced tea here or something like that, right? Then you would say, okay, that's where they're from. But yeah, instead of showing us, just telling us. So.
Well, by the same token, he's talking at the end about her being a flirtatious young lady from America, but I get no sense of where he's from. None at all. So this character, he's in London. Curious how his visit to London would unfold, but where is he from? Because
I think I would have liked to have known immediately that she was from America, right? As soon as,
well, we know she's got a Southern American accent, so we know she's from America.
well, then why bring it up later?
Well, I thought it was because he's not.
Okay.
But maybe he is, and then I don't know. Like, that's confusing. Why are we talking about it?
Yeah, I think we have a better sense of who this girl is than we do with him.
Yeah.
Well, and what we were told about him was just too much telling. Like, we know he's 22, but did we need to know that, like, that way? Or, like...
None of the details we have draw us in.
Yeah.
Except for the last 3 sentences.
Yeah.
Somehow we
Whoever
know,
he's waiting for is the problem.
and somehow it triggered him. He knows who she is now, whereas before he didn't. But we don't know who she is. So the last 3 sentences make me want to keep reading, but the rest of it I could almost just.
Because that's where the conflict comes in. It might be
Yeah.
kind of more fun, like Torsia was saying, because if we knew what his goal was, if we knew he's sitting here waiting for someone that
Yeah,
he's not
if
excited
you had
about.
gotten maybe a couple sentences, before this of internal thought from him about what he feels about meeting this person that's about to come. It seems like he's not super happy about it. Is that what it is? Or wait.
I don't know. He
digs
dug
his
his
nails
Dug
into
his
his
nails,
palm.
yeah. So it sounds like he's not very happy about it. So, if you're setting up like just a sentence ahead of time about, who he's going to be meeting up with, that gives us something intriguing to look forward to. Because otherwise it's just the next, and this whole section I feel like can be condensed a lot. I don't know if we need almost a whole page of this banter between these two when nothing's really happening.
Unless this is a romance and this is the character that he's gonna, but then we need something more intriguing about her too.
And about him.
Yeah.
Because we know more about her than him.
Yeah.
All we
So-
know about him is his name is Andy. He's in London, and he went off the radar 4 months ago.
And that he has sunglasses.
Well, and we don't
That's
really
true.
know if she doesn't seem, if
22.
she was the love interest, she's not that interesting
She's
because
not.
she's just the college flirty Southern.
She just wants a chair.
Yeah. She just wants a chair.
She just wants a
She
chair.
just wants
Summed
the
it up.
chair.
Well, that's the interesting thing to me is like she doesn't seem like she's flirting at all.
Yeah,
but
she-
he's
but
calling
he's-
her flirty.
Yeah.
Which I
But
find
he's the one who
strange.
says to her,
Yeah.
if you bring it back, because they
Yeah,
have you in
exactly.
italics, just so you know. So I feel like he's being flirty with her, but she's just like,
She's having
"Can
none
I
of
have
it.
this
She's
chair?"
like, no, really, I just want the chair.
Just want it, but are you going to use it? So yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I guess we should vote on it, and the way the voting works, we either vote ready, if we think it's ready, send it to a publisher, set, meaning it needs some work, and then send it into a publisher, or write, which means we should probably rewrite this before we send it to anybody. So, Randy?
I'm going to give it a right. I do not find the characters engaging at all. I'm really not sure what the story's about. I'm not even really sure the setting. I mean, it's a cafe. Is it in London? Yeah, it's a cafe in London, but by setting, I mean, I don't know like what the genre is and, what's going to make this setting and story so exciting and different from any other story. There's nothing to pull me in on that level.
I would give it kind of a tentative set. If the young lady in the story is important to the story later on, then maybe we just need to do some tweaking. If she's not, though, maybe we need to write it out a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would give it, I think it has potential, the story. I mean, I don't know what it's about. I don't know what the genre is. If he's under the radar and this is the beginning of
Spy
a
novel?
thriller, it's a right. It's 100% a right. If it's a romantic comedy, we're okay, I think, starting this way and it's just a set. But one thing that I would say, I am going to say right either way, though, because I think we've been told a lot of things that we need to be shown. Like, if we're in London, don't say how his visit to London would unfold. Show me something that tells me I'm in London. Like, where are we in London? Where is this chair? Like, we're in a cafe or whatever. Like, but just give me a little bit more of a sense of setting and then show us through the dialogue instead of telling us that they're flirty. I mean, you already are, but just show more than tell, I think, if you're keeping it the same. If it is a romantic comedy, you can keep this information the same, but just show us more than tell us.
So was that a set or a right?
That was a right.
That was a right. It's a right either way for me, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to agree. For me, it's a right as well. And Adrienne just said basically everything I was thinking, that there's just a little too much telling and we want, more showing. And then, the other things that I had mentioned as well. I will say that it's not, the writing here, it's not bad writing. So I just
Very
want to
smooth.
make that really clear, but it just needs tweaking and for you to find out, where does the story get really interesting? Because that's where you need to start, is where it's interesting. Because right here, I'm just not super interested. So I would say right.
And I'm going to also give it a right based on what I said earlier, that the story doesn't really start to have any tension or draw me in until like the last 3 sentences. So if you could condense those first 3 or 4 paragraphs to a couple of sentences and get right to that portion, or somehow make the previous stuff more interesting, which is why I give it a right about rewriting it. So I'm going to also give it a right. I think it needs to be rewritten before it's ready to go. So, well, it's now your turn. You can comment below and let us know if you think we got it right. Let us know if we got it wrong. Let us know what you thought about this piece and see what how you would rate it. And anything else we got to add?
No, until next time, get ready.
Get set.
Right.